Well, here we are, guys. We made it. Eden. The seat of the Sanctum. See, it's right there.
Can I just point out, the seat of the Sanctum right there is the most normal-looking thing we've encountered in the game.
This fine leather chair is what this area is named
the people
after.
await your address.
Well, actually, there's the one next to the desk, and it looks like there's another one behind the desk, although the perspective isn't really very good.
And so, we greet the new dawn.
Also, that sure as hell is a thing that people say.
Alright, well, who gives a fuck about chairs? Let's see some fucking F-Zero.
Oh god, yes.
Wait, what?
You heard us.
So this is the most absolute blatant piece of just pointless eye candy in the entire game, but it fucking owns. I love this cutscene.
They probably had this cutscene like directed and storyboarded and going through visual stuff for at least 3 years before the plot was anywhere near finalized.
So, essentially, Sid is having a giant space Formula 1 race just to celebrate the fact that he's the new Primarch. Is that what's going on?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty much intended to kind of signal that, hey, things are back to normal after the purge, and, well, that's about to end.
Oh god, is it ever.
Hey, they're actually using their goddamn Eidolons for their vehicle functionality.
See? That thing I spoiled in Palampolum actually came true.
I'll be damned.
Close call. And the hero saves the day.
Yay, everyone's heroes, and oh shit.
God damn it, Snow.
Probably should have covered that.
God fucking damn it, Snow.
So yeah, guess what? You know that mass panic we came here to avoid? Snow just triggered it.
Well, I guess we now have an excuse for even more graphics.
Oh lord, do we ever.
And that's the last time Alexander will ever be useful in this game.
They actually found the place to use the wall. Even though he didn't actually use the wall, he just got Alexander to just stand there.
Hey, Lightning, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't know, but I think she just murdered that guy.
Oh, she definitely murdered that guy. And that guy, too.
Hey, she actually used the sword as a gun. Like, outside of a turn-based battle. Good God, even in a goddamn transforming Gatling gun tentacle monster, Vanille is still completely insufferable.
Never has the thread title been more appropriate. I have no idea what is going on, but it looks fucking amazing.
Right? Like, I could watch this like 10 more times and I still have no idea what's going on.
But god damn, does it look good.
So good.
Yeah, and now Phoenix finally gets off its ass and lights the place up like it should have probably at the start of this bullshit.
Like, you'd think that would be a thing that they'd be able to do.
No, Phoenix is just incredibly lazy.
He's the worst son, Falsey.
So hey, it's another one of these gimmick fights where we start off in a summon.
Yeah, this time it's totally... Like, you do not need anything other than, you know, Gestalt mode to finish this. This guy is really, really easy.
Well, okay then. So you can just sit there mashing X. And it will die.
Yes and no. You do need to manually get it started so that you have a proper... Like, the only reliable way I could get the, Stagger to actually build up was to manually do, like, 2 attacks in quick succession, because otherwise It just didn't last long enough to get started. But yeah, other than that, once it started, you can just train. You can just run right over this guy.
Well, alright then. Hey, he dropped another shop.
He did. Sanctum Labs is where we can buy the most expensive transformation catalysts,
Joy.
including the trapezohedron.
Trapezohedron, please.
Whatever the fuck.
I didn't think it was that complicated.
So you like those, don't you, Fiddle?
Oh lord, how I love those.
They're using transgates. Transgates? How many coming through?
What the hell is a transgate?
Numbers unconfirmed, but it's a
The things that they've been using since the start of the game. Haven't you been reading the data logs?
Oh. Oh hey, this is pretty awesome.
So yeah, Eden's kind of in trouble here.
Oh god, is it ever.
Oh hey, Seath as well. That's just great. I'm still liking this cutscene. So 3 totally separate people in that crowd just all basically said the exact same thing. See, I told you there was another chair behind that desk.
There's 3 of them.
Also, unrelated question, why the shit are all the chairs facing away from the desk?
Well, clearly because Sid is trying to just get a good look at this.
Oh hey, it's Sawyer. Hey Sawyer.
Hey, it's that guy. I can't remember that guy's actual name.
It's Rigdia. Remember when he was relevant?
No?
Now he's gonna take one last desperate shot at being so. Hi-oh!
Again with the Sid speaking like a normal person.
So here's a legitimate question. Who's the more useless Final Fantasy Sid? Sid Reigns or Sid Kramer?
Sid Kramer did at least inadvertently kick a whole load of shit off by being a moron.
I don't know, and Sid Reigns, for as relatively useless as he is in the plot, is pretty much the entire reason that we weren't all murdered back in Chapter 3, so...
What's going on out there?
Yay, technicalities.
There's more to it than that.
He's definitely the reason we weren't all murdered after Jill Nabat got Fang and Saz. Vanille and Saz.
I thought Jill Nabat's incompetence was the reason they weren't all murdered.
What'll happen to Cocoon?
Probably didn't hurt.
It's all out war. Did we cause this by coming back?
Everyone in Psycom is so fucking useless.
It's all coming true.
Well, his future stops right here. We're the ones who
Oh
decide
boy,
what
it's
happens
time
next.
for a heroic resolve moment.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait.
We don't have time for that. We need to go save the city.
And by save the city, we're going to walk down a corridor.
And by save the city, I mean we're going to completely ignore the city and just rush straight to Eden.
Okay. We have a lot of CP.
We do have a lot of CP, and thankfully we have some very interesting abilities to use them on.
I was gonna say, that thing didn't sound like an ability username I already know from every other Final Fantasy in existence.
Yes, these are the unique abilities. Lightning's Army of One, Saz's Cold Blood, and Hope's Last Resort are Ravager skills, which will drastically increase the stagger gauge, but they're best used after you've staggered somebody. Snow has Sovereign Fist, and Fang has High Wind, which are...
Someone had to have High Wind.
And they are commando skills, which instead of increasing the stagger gauge, they totally drain it, and they do damage based on the stagger meter at the time. And then there's Vanille. Vanille is a Saboteur unique skill, which you might find interesting. And I'm not going to show it here, am I? Nope. Okay. Yeah, Vanille's unique skill is Death. And it does exactly what you think it does.
Funny, because you'd think that'd be Snow's unique skill, given the amount of people he's gotten killed over the course of the game.
Lol.
I don't think anybody's hands are particularly clean in that regard.
But it's just fun to pick on Snow.
Oh, are you sure that that Fang and Snow's skills do more damage based on how much gauge it has at the time? I thought the whole point of those was you use them right at the end of a stagger to deal a whole buttload of damage.
Yes, I believe you say. I mean, either way, it comes down to the same thing at that point.
Well,
Because later in the stagger, you're gonna have higher gauge.
oh right, I thought you meant like the actual amount of. Like,
No. I mean, like what the stagger meter is at is based on.
Well, that makes total sense then. So basically, that just makes them a much more awesome version of Smite. That's a little bit harder to use.
Yes.
Smite is a great skill. It's just really great. It just makes a very large number appear.
So the Bulwarker is very, very similar to. It was an enemy back in Chapter 4 that I don't remember the name of.
Orion, I want to say.
It sounds appropriate, yeah.
It's pretty useless on its own, but what it'll do is it'll throw out a beacon. And it will target that beacon with missile strikes. And other fun things. But on its own, it's pretty useless though. It needs ground support.
So, what, does the beacon just explode when it gets hit with stuff, or does the beacon just enable it to use those other attacks?
Both.
Oh.
The beacon has a health bar. You can attack it and destroy it. And it will also take damage from the missiles that are hitting it. It's actually kind of a funny mechanic.
Yeah. Oh, so this area is, I guess, their attempt at not having a straight line corridor dungeon. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's still point A to point B, but there's a couple goodies hidden around there. You just gotta look for them.
Yeah, it's a thought that counts. Speaking of thought, there's absolutely none of it here.
Okay.
Well, that one thing from the start of the game does come back into play.
So yeah, lightning's thingy. Remember when that worked?
I remember when it broke.
What are you?
Nothing to it.
It doesn't work.
See you ground side.
It broke.
Crazy.
And suddenly there's 6 of them now.
I think the implication is they took them from Sanctum soldiers, but
When did they do that?
Off screen. Probably when Reigns was getting murdered.
I guess it wasn't beautiful enough, so they didn't show it.
yeah, just don't ask questions.
Well, okay then.
Very rare is it when Vanille is the most rational person in a scene.
You were saying?
Well, before this. And, oh hey, look! It's that scene from the original trailer for the game.
Hey, remember when the game was totally gonna play like that, honest?
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, like, as I recall, the original thing was like, Lightning's whole thing was gonna be being able to control gravity, and she was the only one who could do that.
Let's go.
And then optionally there were gonna be other people.
And then they couldn't get it to work, so they scrapped it.
Right.
Would have been like Final Fantasy Galaxy or something. I don't know. Oh, actually, it would have been like Final Fantasy Gravity Rush. God, Gravity Rush was a good game.
Yeah,
Ready for a fight?
yeah, that was a good game.
Don't remember inviting you.
Too bad the sequel is never going to exist.
Which is a goddamn shame. Although understandable, because, you know, they forced the thing to come out on Vita, so nobody bought it. Because it was on Vita. Oh well. Enemies.
Yeah, gun guys. These guys can do days, but that's really about all they're notable for.
Well, I guess that's this Weller conversation run dry. Can we go back to talking about Gravity Rush?
I was gonna say, it wouldn't be a chapter that I appear in if it didn't involve murdering hordes of Psychon soldiers.
Psychom's what now?
Wait, did we lose Crow?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
So you were saying...
I was gonna say, yeah, it wouldn't be a chapter that I appear in this game if it didn't involve murdering hordes of Psychom soldiers.
Yeah. We do seem to have inadvertently created themes for a couple people, haven't we?
There's one coming up at the end of the chapter that I'm particularly amused by. But we'll get to that.
Oh lord, how we will get to that. But we have some people stalling us in the meantime, so I guess we're just going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, so that fucker way in the back there, he basically stands there and guards for a while, and then he shoots you and does like 1,500 damage when he does. He is a dick, and he has given me game overs more than a few times in this chapter.
And it doesn't seem like that much damage.
It doesn't, but unless you immediately focus on them, and God forbid there's more than one of them, because if there's like 3 or 4 of them, like, you can seriously watch like 3,000 HP disappear in a second.
And hang on, do you mean like they guard for a while and then they start shooting you, or they guard and then they shoot you, and then they guard and then they shoot you?
They guard, and then they shoot you, at which point they're vulnerable for it's like maybe like 5 or 10 seconds, and then they go back to guard.
Huh. Still doesn't sound that... I don't know. I guess if you're not watching your health, they can get you.
It's not even, it's less that, and just the fact that if they all decide, like, especially when there's multiple of them, if they all decide they're gonna hit, whoever, then that's what they're gonna do, and you're gonna lose, like, 3,000 HP when they all shoot you at once.
Well, I guess there is that terribly thought-out element of the battle system. But hey, just think, later on in the chapter we'll be seeing an even more bullshit abuse of that mechanic.
Stay sharp! Move! Through here!
God, those guys walk weirdly.
Cavalry, stand down! Eden's under our jurisdiction.
Why are you walking towards us and saying that?
I don't know, is this gonna turn into one of those, like, terrible police shows where some people argue about who's in charge?
Not really, no.
No, that happened the last time I was on, too.
That's true, it did. But yeah, these guys, the Sanctum Seraphs, these guys are the ground support for the tank thing.
Now, are they particularly good at this job?
Yeah, see, okay, there, that thing, the flag strike point, that thing floating right next to Saz?
It looks like a grenade.
Yeah, that's his targeting beacon.
Okay. Oh hey, that sure is a name for an ability. And those sure were some numbers.
Yeah, let's say that one wasn't too bad. It can be a lot worse if you let it go.
Yeah, well, I guess that's kind of an interesting mechanic. Like, every now and again, this game does manage to do something noteworthy. And I guess it's like a nifty little hack that you can use the existence of enemies in a battle as a flag to allow certain attacks to happen. What the hell are these?